Part 63. Three Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 623. Their commander is the silver-helmeted general at the front. His name is Zhao Yun and Zhao Zilong. He is a former general among the 5 dragon generals under the Dragon Emperor. He is so skilled with silver spears that even Yu Qigong is not his opponent after. Li Yuanji finished speaking. Luo Cheng frowned and asked that day, Wu Yunzao won't be defeated in the battle outside Yangzhou city, but this Zhao Yun. Li Yuanji nodded and said yes, while Chen Yaojin thought for a long time and finally raised his head and said, I also remembered that the 16th Root Army rebelled against the king and besieged Wei County. This Zhao Yun also appeared on the Wyoming Mountain dozens of miles outside Wei County. At that time, the backer Wang Yanglin and the double-gun veteran Ding Yanping did not fall behind when facing the 2 million troops of the 16th Root anti-king. Especially the two of them, his martial arts skills were unmatched by anyone in the anti-king formation at that time. If the fight had continued like this, even if the 16th anti-king army had a large number of people, they would definitely not be the opponents of Yanglin and Ding Yanping. But then suddenly something happened out of nowhere. He killed a white horse general, defeated 2 spears with a single gun, killed Ding Yanping in 2 rounds, killed Yanglin in more than 10 rounds, and then disappeared from the chaos without a trace. I was far away at the time, and there was no trace. I could see the man's appearance clearly, but he was dressed exactly the same as Zhao Yun. He was the one who killed Yanglin and Ding Yanping that day. Ding Yanping is Luo Cheng's adoptive father. In the original work, Luo Cheng secretly learned his method of defeating 2 guns with a single gun, and helped Wei Gong defeat Ding Yanping, causing Ding Yanping to die in depression. But in this world, due to the Dragon Kingdom, there was no scene of Luo Cheng and Ding Yan reuniting, so after hearing that Ding Yanping died at the hands of Zhao Yun, Luo Cheng was heartbroken. Yes, it's just a bit sad, not a deep hatred. After all, although Ding Yanping is Luo Cheng's adoptive father, the two have not been in contact for many years, and their relationship is not particularly close. But even so, since Ping is the adopted son in name, then this revenge must be avenged, but in Luo Cheng's heart, it is more about the competition with Zhao Yun who uses guns like this, rather than hatred. So after Chen Yaojin and Li Yuanji finished talking, Luo Cheng's eyes lit up, and the fighting spirit in his heart became more and more awe-inspiring. Then he said to Chen Yaojin, 4th brother, I will go rescue the 2nd brother right away, and the city will be handed over to you. A Euro trademark s just that the opponent has 2 top generals, Su Huang and Zhao Yun. I don't a Euro trademark t know if I can defeat them both in a row, so I will probably lose here. If I lose too, 4th brother, you can lead the army. Surrender Kaikan, we have no hope of winning anyway, so don't cause too many casualties. Chen Yaojin listened to Luo Cheng's words and felt that what he said was reasonable, so he nodded firmly, but a fierce light flashed in Li Yuanji's eyes. Later, Luo Cheng single-handedly left Yuzhu Mansion, stood dozens of steps in front of the Dragon Kingdom's army formation, and shouted to the opponent's formation, I'm here, Luo Cheng, in Yuzhu. I heard that Zhao Yun, the former general of the Dragon Kingdom, has unparalleled marksmanship in the world. Luo Cheng is not talented, and would like to ask General Zhao for some advice. If Luo Cheng is lucky enough to win 1.5 moves, please ask General Zhao to let my 2nd brother go. Zhao Yun couldn't help but look at Luo Cheng after hearing Luo Cheng's words in the formation. 1 light. To read the underlined version of the novel, please download the Philu Novel app. A. 3 Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 624. Although he is calm, his spirit of studying marksmanship has never stopped, and he is also very willing to compete with military commanders who have achieved certain achievements in marksmanship. As for Luo Cheng's name, he had heard Lu Feng mention it several times during the 6 months since he came to the world of Sui and Tang dynasties. Whether he was a cold-faced spearman or a desert gunner, Luo Cheng's attainments in marksmanship could be seen. Therefore, in Zhao Yun's heart, he is very inclined to compete with Luo Cheng. However, it was Su Huang who captured Qin Kaiang. If he lost, he would have to let Qin Kaiang back, and Su Huang would have to agree. How could he let him go because of his own failure? Therefore, Zhao Yun looked at Su Huang with some hesitation, and naturally understood Zhao Yun's thoughts and smiled at him and said, "Zilong, you are the commander-in-chief of this march. As long as you decide to go, go ahead. Huang will naturally support you." Moreover, Huang is very confident in Zilong's martial arts. Although Luo Cheng is powerful, he may not be Zilong's opponent. Of course, if you can't beat him, Huang must not be his opponent. It's not a bad idea to return General Qin. No. Su Huang's words are not a compliment. Zhao Yun's martial arts is much better than him. In terms of realm, Zhao Yun is already at the pinnacle of peerless military generals, while Su Huang is at the peak of super generals. It can be said that there is a gap between the two. Realm. In this case, if Luo Cheng can really defeat Zhao Yun, he will definitely be able to defeat him, and the other party has more troops than his own, so there is no need to fight this battle. After hearing Su Huang's words, Zhao Yun also clasped his fists and said, "Thank you, Brother Gongming, for your help." Then Zhao Yun picked up the gentian silver spear and rode on. Luo Cheng stopped 10 steps away and said to Luo Cheng, "Yun, I have long heard of General Luo's reputation as the desert spear god. It is also a blessing to be able to fight today. If General Luo wins, the army will naturally be sent back to Yuzhu, but if Yun is lucky enough to win 1.5 moves, I don't know if General Luo wins. Are you willing to submit to the Dragon Kingdom?" As it should be. Luo Cheng was quite fond of Zhao Yun for his cheerfulness, so he naturally would not refuse. Moreover, now that the Dragon Kingdom has almost unified the world, the only thing missing is his Yuzhu land. With his own land, he can't do it anyway. To compete with the Dragon Kingdom, instead of paying homage and sacrificing troops, it is better to surrender directly and stop making unnecessary sacrifices. In fact, according to Luo Cheng's idea, the Dragon Kingdom's unification of the world is the general trend, and it is not something that his state can stop. So he was not willing to go to war with the Dragon Kingdom at all. However, due to Li Yuanji's instigation, saying that Shan Xiangxin was executed by Lu Feng in front of the battle after he took refuge with Lu Feng, Qin Kaiang and Chen Yaojin became jealous of Lu Feng. Resentful and unwilling to surrender, Luo Cheng had to fight with Zhaoban enemy. Although Luo Cheng and Shan Xiangxin are also one of the 46 friends of Wei Gong who are sworn by Jiu Liaolu, their relationship is not good, and they can even be said to represent two forces within Wei Gong village. On one side is the Green Forest Heroes faction headed by Shan Xiangxin, the chief executive of the 9 provinces of Green Forest, and on the other side is the former official faction of the Sui dynasty headed by Luo Cheng. The two factions restrict each other and ensure the stability of Wei Gongjai to a certain extent. Therefore, Luo Cheng didn't feel much about Shan Xiangxin's death, at least he didn't hate the Dragon Kingdom as much as Qin Kaiang did. Feeler reminds you, 3 things about reading: collect, recommend, and share. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 3 Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 625. Zhao Yun and Luo Cheng were facing each other on the court. Neither of them took action immediately. Instead, they were gathering momentum and staring at each other closely, trying to find the meaning in each other's eyes. Breakthrough comes. The soldiers on both sides looked at the 2 people in the center of the field. They were both wearing white armor and white robes, riding a white horse, holding silver guns, and both were handsome. They stood opposite each other like this, giving people a look. A deeply hidden feeling. After a long time, Luo Cheng couldn't help but take the lead. He clamped his legs on the horse's belly, and one person and one horse rushed over quickly. At the same time, the silver gun in his hand stabbed Zhao Yun like a python. This was just a tentative blow from Luo Cheng, but it had an aura that could break through everything, as if everyone was just paper in front of his shot. An ordinary person would definitely be shocked when faced with such a blow, but who is Zhao Yun? He is the spear king of the Eastern Han Dynasty who studied under Tong Yuan, the spear master of the Eastern Han Dynasty, and received Tong Yuan's true biography. Facing Luo Cheng's forward attack, Zhao Yun clamped his legs. Magnolia White Dragon Horse understood it and jumped forward, and then Zhao Yun Liang's silver spear pierced out like a python coming out of its hole. There was only a crisp sound of bang. Zhao Yun's gentian bright silver spear was impartial, and the tip of the spear collided with the tip of Luo Cheng's five-hook god's flying bright silver spear. The tip of this spear was so large, and Luo Cheng's attack was so fast that ordinary people might not even be able to react and dodge. But Zhao Yun was able to block Luo Cheng's spear tip with the tip of his spear. Not to mention the force, Zhao Yun's vision alone was enough to rank among the top in the world. Luo Cheng was a little shocked when he saw that his attack was blocked by Zhao Yun in this way. He asked himself that if it were him, he would never be able to do it. But this Zhao Yun did it. At least his reaction, and courage were unmatched by Luo Cheng. But Luo Cheng was not afraid of this. Although his move was a bit domineering, it was only a tentative strike. If Zhao Yun can't even block such a move, then the next battle will definitely be very boring, and he will lose soon. Fortunately, Zhao Yun did not disappoint Luo Cheng. He not only caught Luo Cheng's blow, but also proved to Luo Cheng in this way that he was definitely stronger in marksmanship. Then, Zhao Yun also flicked his wrist, and the gentian bright silver spear stabbed Luo Cheng like a spiritual snake spitting a message. Since you have finished testing, it is my turn to take action. Facing Zhao Yun's shot, Luo Cheng didn't panic. He swung the five-hook divine flying silver spear in his hand, and using the vibration from Zhao Yun's gun just now, he swept the spear across and hit it just in time. Zhao Yun's gun. The first round of the fight between the two ended in a draw, but both sides had different ideas in their minds. There are many people who use guns, but none of them can catch Luo Cheng's eye with truly superb marksmanship. Although Wu Yunzhao is also a master of guns, Luo Cheng has never fought with him, so it is difficult to evaluate him. But this Zhao Yun is definitely the most powerful gun-wielding general Luo Cheng has ever encountered in his life. But for Zhao Yun, although this Luo Cheng also had extremely high attainments in marksmanship, he was not particularly powerful compared to many gun-wielding generals he had encountered before. To read the underlined version of the novel, please download the Philu novel app. A. Three Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 626. For example, he had fought against Wu Yunzhao before. After the two fought for hundreds of rounds, Zhao Yun finally gained the upper hand, and Wu Yunzhao was much more powerful than Luo Cheng. Another example is Taishi Ci and Ma Chao, both of whom are masters of using guns. Compared with Luo Cheng, although they are not guaranteed to defeat Luo Cheng, they are about the same. As for Dragon Emperor Lu Feng, he is a being that Zhao Yun knows can never be surpassed among the gun-wielding generals. Regardless of what they were thinking, the battle between the two at this time was absolutely unimaginable to others. Whether it was their flexible marksmanship or the speed of their attacks, it was something many people had never seen before. As time went by, the soldiers on both sides became increasingly unable to keep up with the speed of the two men. At first, some movements could be seen, but then only the after-images of the two silver guns were left. Afterwards, even Chen Yaojin and Qin Kaiyan couldn't tell the man's movements. Even Luo Cheng had taught Qin Kaiyan the Luo family's marksmanship, but Qin Kaiyan still rarely used guns after all, so his understanding of marksmanship was very important. much worse than Luo Cheng. Now, seeing the smooth attack and defense of these two men, Qin Kaiyan could only sigh at the superb marksmanship of the two men, and felt that he would never be able to match them in his lifetime. In fact, not only the people watching the battle on both sides were surprised by the two men's marksmanship, but Luo Cheng, one of the parties involved, also felt a little unbelievable about Zhao Yun's marksmanship. The more the battle, the more frightened he became. You must know that your Luo family's marksmanship is a top-notch marksmanship that has been mastered after many years of fighting with the foreign races in the north. In particular, his understanding of killing enemies in battle formations is absolutely top-notch in the world. Originally he thought he could have the upper hand even if he couldn't use marksmanship, but after more than 100 rounds, Luo Cheng was surprised to find that he was completely defeated by this Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun is only a few years older than himself, but his understanding of this marksmanship is quite the posture that he has practiced for a lifetime. The spear is like a snake returning to its nest, extremely ruthless. Even, the skill is close to the Tao. Zhao Yun's marksmanship was originally learned from the 100 Birds Chao Huang spear created by Tong Yuan. Not only Zhao Yun, but Zhang Xiu and Zhang Ren also learned this marksmanship. During the hundreds of rounds of fighting with Luo Cheng, Zhao Yun had been in a stalemate with Luo Cheng's Luo family spear with the set of 100 Birds Phoenix spear, unable to take advantage of each other. During this period, Luo Cheng took the initiative to change his moves several times, trying to win by cleverness, but he was blocked by Zhao Yun's extremely strong stability and did not cause any harm to him. Just when Luo Cheng was helpless, Zhao Yun also took the initiative to change his moves. Although Su Huang was one step behind the two in terms of realm, he still understood Zhao Yun's moves. So when he saw Zhao Yun about to use his unique skill, he breathed a sigh of relief and said with a smile, "It seems that Luo Chenma is about to lose." Qin Kaiyan was beside Su Huang and heard Su Huang. Akira looked at the situation on the field carefully, but he could see that Luo Cheng showed signs of defeat. In fact, he could no longer see how far the two of them had fought. Finally, after more than 10 rounds, the fight between the two suddenly stopped. Luo Cheng's gun was raised high, while the tip of Zhao Yun's gentian bright silver gun was lodged in Luo Cheng's throat for less than a month. Refers to a wide distance. Feeler reminds you, 3 things about reading: collect, recommend, and share. 3 Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 627. As the two men stopped their movements at the same time, everyone finally saw the situation on the court clearly. After all, Luo Cheng was still one move away. If Zhao Yun had murderous intentions, then Luo Cheng at this moment Cheng is already a dead soul shot by Zhao Yun. In fact, the reason why Su Huang was able to judge in advance that Zhao Yun was about to win just now was because he saw that Zhao Yun had used his unique skill, the 7 Detective Snake Spear. The 7 Detective Coiled Snake Spear was an original move created by Zhao Yun and Tong Yuan after he learned the spear technique based on the secrets and concepts of the 100 Birds Chao Huang spear technique. Although it is not as domineering as the 100 Birds Chao Huang marksmanship, this marksmanship is both offensive and defensive, and is more suitable for a top marksman like Zhao Yun whose basic skills are stable to abnormal. Now that the winner has been decided, Zhao Yun took back the spear in his hand and bowed his hand in greeting to Luo Cheng. Luo Cheng also put down the 5-hook divine flying silver spear and sighed in admiration. General Zhao's marksmanship is indeed amazing, Luo Cheng. If you win, you will be convinced. When Zhao Yun saw Luo Cheng put away his gun and surrendered, he also smiled and said, General Luo's marksmanship is also rare in Zhao's life. The reputation of this desert magic gun is really well deserved. Luo Cheng listened to Zhao Yun's words. After complimenting him, his face suddenly turned red, and he raised his hands and praised General Zhao. Don't mention this nickname anymore. The desert gunslinger is no match for General Zhao after all. General Zhao is the true gunslinger in the world. What does Zhao Yun mean? The gunslinger didn't care at all, but after hearing what Luo Cheng said, he said, Zhao really doesn't dare to take the title of gunslinger in the world. Your Majesty's marksmanship is 100 times better than Yun. He is the real gunslinger. Luo Cheng originally thought Zhao Yun's marksmanship was already the best, but he didn't expect that Zhao Yun actually said that the Dragon Emperor's marksmanship was 100 times better than his. He suddenly asked with some surprise, General Zhao, is he serious? Is His Majesty the Dragon Emperor really that powerful? Regarding Luo Cheng's question, Zhao Yun also spoke in detail. Instead, Luo Cheng said, Your Majesty's martial arts have reached an advanced level, and naturally he is not comparable to us. Since General Luo is interested in Your Majesty's marksmanship, he can naturally meet him after arriving at His Majesty. I asked him for advice. I just didn't know whether General Luo was willing to admit defeat and fulfill his just declared mission. As it should be. Facing Zhao Yun's inquiry, Luo Cheng nodded almost without hesitation. Whether it was out of his promise, curiosity about Lu Feng's marksmanship, or even the feeling of powerlessness about the Dragon Kingdom's unification of the world, Luo Cheng unable to refuse Zhao Yun's invitation. Then, Luo Cheng turned to look at the city. He and Chen Yaojin had already made an agreement. As long as he was defeated and could not rescue Qin Kaiang, he would let Chen Yaojin lead the soldiers of Yuzhu to open the city and surrender. However, he saw after walking toward the city gate for a long time, Chen Yaojin didn't see the city gate being opened. Just when he was a little confused, he saw Li Yuanji and several of his guards appearing on the city wall with their knives on Chen Yaojin's neck. Seeing this scene, Luo Cheng's vision suddenly burst. He was about to end the battle and return to the Dragon Kingdom, but Li Yuanji did this. Luo Cheng felt really depressed and shouted angrily at the city wall, Li Yuanji, what do you mean? Release arrows for me and shoot them to death. However, Li Yuanji ignored Luo Cheng's question, and without any nonsense at all, he directly ordered the archers on the city wall to shoot at Luo Cheng and Zhao Yun with bows and arrows, hoping to kill them both directly. _C for the non-underlined version of the novel, please download Philo Novel app, You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Three Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 628. However, the bows and arrows shot by ordinary archers could not hurt the two peerless generals Zhao Yun and Luo Cheng. They all danced the silver spears in their hands into a ball and shot the flying arrows. The arrow rain was blocked directly. Luo Cheng was furious, and Zhao Yun felt depressed. He originally thought he could capture Yuzhu without spending a single soldier, but he didn't expect that the variable Li Yuanji suddenly appeared. Naturally, Chen Yaojin on the city wall would not let others take advantage of him so honestly. While struggling, he shouted to Li Yuanji, you ungrateful bastard, let me go quickly. If I had known better, I wouldn't have taken you with me. Arrived in Yuzhu. Chen Yaojin roared, but Li Yuanji remained unmoved. Seeing that Chen Yaojin was so dishonest, his guards strengthened their hands, and the chill on their necks suddenly let Chen Yaojin be honest. At this time, Chen Yaojin felt extremely regretful. He had just seen Luo Cheng and Zhao Yun fighting inextricably, and was attracted by their martial arts and did not notice the surrounding situation. So much so that he didn't even know that the soldiers guarding the city around him had been replaced by Li Yuanji's cronies, and he was completely caught off guard by Li Yuanji's sudden attack. Chen Yaojin didn't even know when Li Yuanji gave the order. He only felt that 5 or 6 soldiers suddenly came around him. Just as he was about to ask questions, someone put a knife on his neck. Su Huang, who was under the city, saw Li Yuanji's sudden attack. Zhao Yun and Luo Cheng were threatened by Li Yuanji's archers and found it difficult to escape. They immediately became anxious and wanted to forcefully attack the city with their troops. However, as soon as he moved, Li Yuanji, who was watching the scene from the city wall, noticed it and immediately shouted to Qin Kaiang, quickly stop the Dragon Kingdom soldiers and horses around you. Chen Yaojin's life is in the hands of this king. If Su Huang leads the attack, I must chop off your good brother's head before he dies and let him accompany me. Li Yuanji knows very well that it is impossible for him to surrender to the Dragon Kingdom. Even Li Jiancheng, the Tang dynasty, all the emperors were smashed to death by Li Yuanba with a hammer, and even if Li Yuan stopped him, he would be smashed to death by Li Yuanba. What's more, his father Li Yuan had been killed by Shan Xiangxin, and there was no one to speak for him. It is better to fight to the death with Zhao Yun and others. Maybe there is still a glimmer of hope. Even death will not make them feel better. After hearing what Li Yuanji said, Qin Kaiyan was shocked and angry, but there was nothing he could do about Li Yuanji. He had no choice but to break free and stand in front of Su Huang. When Su Huang saw Qin Kaiyan blocking him, he frowned and said, "General Qin, why are you doing this?" Faced with Su Huang's question, Qin Kaiyan said sternly, "Kaiyan thanks General Su for not killing him, but Yao Jin is my sworn brother, and my best friend. When I was a child, my father was killed by Yang Lin. If Yaojin and his son hadn't taken him in, my mother and I would never have been able to escape the Sui army. He was kind to me, so how could I watch him being killed?" Although Su Huang is relatively taciturn, he is also very loyal. After listening to Su Huang's words, he also admired Qin Kaiyan even more. He couldn't help but sigh and ordered to stop the attack. Zhao Yun was originally waiting for Su Huang to command the army to attack the city by force, but after hearing the conversation between Qin Kaiyan and Su Huang, I sighed in my heart. Fei Lu reminds you, 3 things about reading: collect, recommend, and share. 3 Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 629. He knew the importance of the hostages in Li Yuanji's hands. However, Zhao Yun suddenly discovered that Li Yuanji's attention was focused on Su Huang and Qin Kaiyan, so he felt happy and said to Luo Cheng, "General Luo, help me protect the law." After hearing Zhao Yun's words, Luo Cheng, although Zhao Yun didn't know what his plan was, he immediately came to him and waved the spear in his hand to help him block the flying arrows as much as possible. Zhao Yun took the opportunity to turn sideways, took out a large carved bow hanging on the back of the magnolia white dragon horse, aimed at Li Yuanji and shot an arrow. Li Yuanji didn't notice Luo Cheng and Zhao Yun at all, but one of his personal guards saw it and hurriedly shouted to Li Yuanji, "King Qi, be careful." Li Yuanji heard the shouts of his personal guards, he couldn't help but be stunned. The city was already controlled by his own soldiers, and he didn't know what else could threaten his safety. Almost subconsciously, Li Yuanji looked at the person who spoke, and then at the place where his eyes were looking, but suddenly found that a sharp arrow was flying towards him quickly. Seeing the arrow flying towards him, Li Yuanji was shocked. However, he was so frightened by the arrow that he stood there and didn't know how to react. The guards around him saw it and rushed to pull it, but it was too late. One step forward. Only a muffled groan was heard as the arrow pierced through Li Yuanji's throat and plunged firmly into the city wall behind him. Although Zhao Yun's archery skills are not as good as those of Huang Zhong and others, and even have a certain gap compared to Taishi Ci and Lu Buletin, they are definitely not a shortcoming. At least he can easily penetrate a yang with 100 steps. Li Yuanji's personal guards on the city wall were at a loss when they saw that Ji had died like this. They were about to kill Chen Yaojin and escape, but suddenly heard Zhao Yun shouting from below the city, "Why continue to arrest the general when he is dead? Holding hostages? If you don't surrender now, wait until the time comes and release the hostages. I will spare you a way to live. If you have to die, all of you will die without a burial place." The defenders on the city wall listened to Zhao Yun's words, thought about it carefully, and found that it was indeed as Zhao Yun said. If Chen Yaojin was killed, let alone Zhao Yun, Su Huang, Shan Qingshan would never spare him. And whether Qin Kaiyan was whether it is leading troops to fight or using personal force, they are among the best in the world. In order to appease Qin Kaiyan, Longuo will definitely attack the city by force, and then he and others will not end well. Instead of doing this, it is better to let Chen Yaojin go. And he put the responsibility of kidnapping Chen Yaojin as a hostage on Li Yuanji. Anyway, he was the commander-in-chief, and everything was ordered by him. He was just following orders. In this way, not only would he not make Qin Kaiyan angry and suffer disaster, but also being able to sell Chen Yaojin a favor would be a good way to kill two birds with one stone. So, several of Li Yuanji's guards who were escorting Chen Yaojin glanced at each other, let go of Chen Yaojin, and knelt down together and said, "We have offended a lot just now, but it was Li Yuanji who forced us. We hope General Chen will not forget the faults of villains and spare us." Chen Yaojin is not a brainless person. He naturally knows that even if Li Yuanji has an order, they are definitely not innocent people. But since they have found their way back and are now unarmed and alone, if they are exposed on the spot, they will definitely you will feel that there is no way out. To read the underlined version of the novel, please download Filu Novel app, comma. Three Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 630. In this state, he might be on the verge of death. So Chen Yaojin waved his hand and said, "Forget it, they are all here to work for their lives. I can't blame you for this matter. I won't mention it anymore." When everyone saw Chen Yaojin say this, they were relieved. Luo Cheng, who was under the city, was relieved when he saw that Chen Yaojin was no longer in danger. At the same time, he raised his hands and said to Zhao Yun, "I didn't expect General Zhao to have good archery skills. He is not weaker than the eighth brother." Zhao Yun naturally knew that Luo Cheng was in danger. The eighth brother in Cheng's mouth was Wang Bodang. Thinking of the competition between Wang Bodang and Huang Zhong outside Lucas City that day, he knew that he was no match for him, so he shook his head and said, "Yun's archery skills are indeed much worse than brother Wang's. Please stop complimenting me. Wang Bodang's archery skills have long been famous in the Dragon Kingdom, and in the entire Dragon Kingdom, only Huang Zhong can beat Wang Bodang by 1 or 2. As for Taishi Ci and Lu Buletin, they have already ranked third. In the second camp, Zhao Yun wants to move to the back." While the two were talking, the city gate had been opened. Chen Yaojin led the army out of the city to surrender, welcoming the Dragon Kingdom army into the city. So far, the Dragon Kingdom completely controlled Yuzhu and at the same time unified the world. Later, Zhao Yun and Su Huang left Luo Cheng's hundreds of thousands of Yuzhu troops to guard Yuzhu, while the two of them returned to Chang'an with Luo Cheng, Qin Kaiyan, and Chen Yaojin to meet Lu Feng. At the same time, in Chang'an City, Lu Feng received a letter from Sun Yu, in which he said that a Japanese named Yu led troops to sneak attack Yangzhou, but Gao Shun, who stayed behind, fell into the camp and killed him on the spot. After Lu Feng read the letter, he immediately got angry in his heart. This turtle was originally the fourth prince of the Ryukyu kingdom. It was said that he was 1 foot 4 feet tall, but he was even taller than Wu Tugu. He could not block a long-handled golden melon. Brave. Later, this turtle somehow became the prince-in-law of the country. Unexpectedly, he dared to bring the little Japanese devils to sneak attacks on the Central Plains. It was true that the tiger did not show its power and took the dragon country for granted. So Lu Feng immediately came and told the matter. Dian Wei, Lu Buletin, and others had been here for half a year during the Sui and Tang dynasties. They had been fighting against the forces of their own country and did not know much about foreign races. However, Zhang Liao and others had just arrived here and heard that a little Japanese pirate dared to he made a sneak attack on Longguo and was furious on the spot. Zhang Liao said, "I thought that in the original world, our Dragon Kingdom had already wiped out all the foreign races. Even Rome, Kashan and other countries were honest. I didn't expect that the Japanese country here would be so restless. Your Majesty, Minister, please order me to bring 20,000 troops to conquer the Japanese islands and promote the prestige of our Dragon Kingdom. Lu Feng originally wanted to send people to eliminate the Japanese pirates. Since Zhang Liao took the initiative to ask for orders, he naturally agreed. Okay, if Wen Yuan goes to fight, I will also, don't worry. In addition, I will send you another deputy general, Yu Qigong. You and Wen Yuan go together. Yu Qigong did not expect that he would be reused by the Dragon Emperor just after he joined the Dragon Kingdom. He felt excited and immediately agreed, and then he left the palace with Zhang Liao and organized his troops to attack the Japanese island. Then Lu Feng continued, now that our country has joined the Central Plains, and all places are prosperous under the governance of the Tang dynasty, I will not waste time. Everyone go back and prepare. Tomorrow, Zilong and Gongming will lead after Luo Cheng, Qin Kaiang and others come back. Tomorrow morning I will announce the expedition of the army to the foreign races in various places. Fei Lu reminds you, 3 things about reading: collect, recommend, and share. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 3 Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 631. Early the next morning, except for Zhang Liao and Yu Qigong, all the civil servants and generals in the Sui and Tang dynasties in the Shenlong Empire gathered in the Chang'an Palace, waiting for Lu Feng to preside over the Dragon Kingdom to completely unify this side of the world. Of the first morning. After everyone arrived, after waiting for half a quarter of an hour, Lu Feng, surrounded by several eunuchs, came to the dragon chair in front of the palace and sat down. He glanced at everyone briefly, and then said, the ability of the Shenlong Empire to unify the world depends on everything. I love you all. I am ashamed. After Lu Feng finished speaking, the officials immediately responded. In fact, many of them have not made any contribution to the Dragon Kingdom. Except for the ministers Lu Feng brought in the 3 Kingdoms world, only Wei Zhengli Yuanba had some credit. Many of the others had just surrendered. Qin Kaiang, Luo Cheng, and others were enemies of the Dragon Kingdom not long ago. After defeating them, the Dragon Kingdom unified the world. Then, Lu Feng said, by way of when we were in Lucca, I and my soldiers made a promise to let the descendants of the dragon become the masters of this world, so that the Han people would never be invaded by foreigners. To be honest, this goal has been achieved in my original world. Now that we have unified the world, my next goal is to realize this promise. Foreign races such as the Japanese islands and the Turks must be eliminated. When Lu Feng said these words, he had been observing the expressions of the officials. When he said that the Han people would never be invaded by foreigners, almost all the officials' eyes lit up. But when he said that when his original world goal had been achieved, almost all the officials in the Sui and Tang dynasties had expressions of surprise and confusion on their faces. So, Lu Feng went on to say, to conceal the truth, I and the leaders of the Dragon Kingdom are not the best in this world. People come from the late Eastern Han dynasty more than 600 years ago, during the 3 Kingdoms period. That is to say, Buletin, Zhaoyun, Dianwei, Guojia and others in front of you are exactly what you know. Those people in history are I just found a way to wear them and brought them to your world. The end of the Eastern Han dynasty where I lived was roughly the same as what you know, but the direction of history was completely different. After Dong Zhou came to Beijing, I joined the league to defeat Dong. A euro. Therefore, I have turned Japan, Goguryeo, Rome, and other countries into the territory of the Han people in that world. Now, it is the turn of this world. In this way, Lu Feng briefly introduced the origins of himself, Guoqia, Zhaoyun and others, focusing on the fact that under his leadership, the entire world surrendered to the Dragon Kingdom, so that the Han people would never be bullied. Lu Feng's words made many ministers in the Sui and Tang dynasties take a breath of cold air, and then they were not the only ones who shouted, the Dragon Emperor is mighty. Immediately afterwards, the entire palace was filled with slogans of "The Dragon Emperor is mighty." After shouting 5 or 6 times, Lu Feng stretched out his hand and pressed it down to signal everyone to be quiet. Then, Lu Feng continued, yesterday, after receiving the battle report from Yangzhou, Gao Shun led the trapped camp to kill Aou, the top general of Japanese island, under the command of Sun Yu. To read the underlined version of the novel, please download the Filu novel app. A. Three Kingdoms, I Have a Job Transfer Palace. Author, Strong Wine Burns the Heart. Chapter 632. Now Zhang Liao and Yu Qigong have led an army of 50,000 to the Japanese island. I believe that the entire Japanese island will soon become the territory of the Dragon Kingdom. Therefore, now I will announce some appointments. Begin to launch attacks on foreign races everywhere. Zhao Yun, Zhang He, and Du Ruhui listen to the order. I order the three of you, with Zhao Yun as the commander, to set out to the southwest with an army of 200,000 to attack Dali. After destroying Dali, continue westward to attack the Persian Empire. Lu Buletin, Su Mogong, and Chen Yaojin listen to the order. You three, with Lu Buletin as the commander and Su Mogong as the strategist, will also lead 200,000 troops to the northwest to attack the Tubo kingdom. After capturing Tubo, they will continue to advance and fight all the way to the Byzantine Empire. Huang Zhong, Wang Bodang, and Fang Xianling listened to the order and ordered the three of you, with Huang Zhong as the commander, to lead an army of 200,000 to Egypt by water. After capturing Egypt, set off north to attack the Arabian region. Dian Wei, Su Huang, Luo Cheng, Guoqia, and Pei Yuanqing obeyed the order and ordered the five of you, with Guoqia as the commander, to lead 400,000 troops to wipe out all the empires in Western Europe such as Rome, Charlemagne's Empire, and the Frankish Kingdom. In addition, Li Jing, Ma Chao, and Tai Shi Ci listened to the order and ordered the three of you, with Li Jing as the commander, to lead 200,000 horses to the north to conquer the Turks. Okay, with these appointments, I believe that after you all come back from the victory, this world will completely become a world dominated by Han people. After Lu Feng finished speaking, everyone raised their hands and said, I obey. Everyone else was okay, but Li Jing was quite shocked. The other teams were all led by Lu Feng's direct descendants, that is, military generals or strategists from the late Han dynasty. But in his case, he was actually led by himself. You must know that the two people he leads are not the same generation. As Lu Feng's apprentice, Ma Chao is a top military general who can even defeat Wu Tianzi, and he is also ranked among the three kingdoms. And Tai Shi Ci is also good at marksmanship, the master of archery. He was originally the best general in Suqiao in history, but now under Lu Feng, he is said to be the first veteran to join Lu Feng, and his martial arts skills are on par with Ma Chao. Even with such a Tuyuan general, but he did not hesitate to regard himself as the commander-in-chief, which is enough to show that the Dragon Emperor trusts him. Although he has strong confidence in his ability to command troops, the Dragon Emperor should not know it. But doubts are doubts. Li Jing's heart was still full of emotion, and he instantly had the same feeling as when he worked for Li Shimin and met the Ming Lord again. Everyone else was impressed by Lu Feng's courage, and at the same time they were excited about the grand blueprint for the future. However, Su Mogong stood up and asked, Your Majesty, in the Eastern Han Dynasty, you were able to wipe out all the major foreign races in the world. In addition to the unstoppable generals, the army of the Dragon Kingdom was also invincible. But now the strength of our current army is worrying. The headquarters troops you brought are only 100,000 troops. Although the rest of the troops are large, their combat effectiveness is far less than that of the 100,000 troops. I am afraid it will be difficult to complete the mission. Su Mogong's words were like pouring cold water on a hot torch. Everyone immediately thought of this and looked at Lu Feng with worries. But Lu Feng said calmly on this point, everyone don't worry, I king. Since I was able to train a 1,000,000-strong army in the Eastern Han Dynasty, I can do it in this world too. Feeler reminds you, 3 things about reading: collect, recommend, and share.